Good morning, dear students. I'm Sumana Ghosh, and once again I'm back with my lecture for Chapter 1, Bricks, Beads and Bones for Class 12. So as you know, we are resuming the lecture. So the topics which I'm going to take up today are seals, scripts and weights, and ancient authority. Now as you know, when you have to take anything and when you have to send something to some of your friends these days, when you do it with the help of a parcel, or you do it with the help of a speed post. Something of that kind existed even in those times also, in the Harappan civilization also. So we are going to see what was that and how did people send items from one place to another. So they sent things with the help of a bag. Things were packed in a bag, and then the bag was tied with a rope having a knot. So on that knot, the rope was tied and a knot was made, and on that knot they put up some clay, wet clay. On that wet clay they pressed some seal to show some impression. So this was the seal. That seal had some kind of images, some kind of motifs. It could be animal motifs, it could be plant motifs. So with the help of these seals, things were sent from one place to another. And if the seal was intact, it meant that the thing has been delivered without being tampered. And with the help of the seal, with the help of the knot, with the help of the seal, one could understand who was the sender, because on the seal the name of the sender was also engraved. So this was the significance of seal and sealing. Now we all keep wondering, what was the script of the Harappan civilization? Now when we again and again when we draw comparison with Mesopotamian civilization, we know that even they had a very well developed script, and even archaeologists, historians have been able to decipher the meaning of those scripts. But unfortunately, even after a long period of studies also, our historians have not been able to decipher the scripts of the Harappan civilization. Whatever scripts have been found on the various copper plates, or on the seals, on the ceilings, on the rims of jars and so on, it's a continuous process, and studies are still on in this aspect to find out the meaning of the script, to decipher the Harappan script. So just if you go through these symbols, even you will not be able to make any head or tail out of it, but every symbol here definitely depicts something. And suppose these symbols have been collected from one of the signboards of Harappa. So definitely they said something about the title, the name and title of the person who has written this script. So efforts are still on to decipher, to study and unfurl the meaning of the Harappan script, but nothing fruitful has been obtained so far. It is said that Harappan script is a kind of enigmatic script. This is just because of the fact that nothing has been obtained. The meanings of these alphabets or the words have not been obtained so far. So even now Harappan script happens to be an enigmatic script. Now where have these Harappan scripts been found? It has been found on the seals, it has been found on the copper and clay tablets, on the rims of jars, on the bone rods. On all these objects Harappan script has been found, even on the toys also. And it is said that inscriptions were short, not too long. It is said that the longest inscription consisted of 26 alphabets. But Harappan script had too many signs and symbols, around 375 to 400 signs and symbols. So it is not too easy a task to find out the meaning of each and every symbol of the Harpoon script, but still efforts are on. And one remarkable thing which has been found by the historians regarding the script is that the script writing took place from right to left, not from left to right, but from right to left, because in many of the seals it has been found that whosoever was the engraver of the seal, he had started engraving the letters and alphabets, maintaining a particular space from the right hand side, but by the time he came to the left hand side, he had short of space, so there were cramping of the letters. So equal spacing has not been found on the right and left side, which indicates that the script might have been written from the right hand side, but unfortunately due to shortage of space, the engraver could not engrave everything clearly on the left hand side, so it was written from right to left. So we have already seen that these scripts have been found in seals, in copper tools, copper plates, even terracotta pottery, and also on the rims of jars. So I hope regarding the script it's clear to you. Moving on to the next subtopic, that is weights. So even the Harpoon people, they used weights because they had to weigh, they had to measure, they had to weigh, so they also used weights. And these weights were made of, generally they were cuboidal in shape, and they were made of a special kind of stone called chert. Special stone called chert, and these cherts were cuboidal in shape. So on which purpose these weights might have been used? It is said that the smaller weights were used to weigh jewelry and beads and all items like jewelry and bead. They were weighed with smaller weights, and heavier weights might have been used for other purposes like a weighing of grains and all. So we see that there were two kinds of denominations, the lower denominations in the weight and the higher denominations. So generally the lower denominations consisted of binary digits, that is 1, 2, 4, then 6, 8, 16, 32, up to 12,800. So these kind of binary digits have been found in the weights of lower denomination, and the higher denominations consisted of decimal units. Higher denominations generally used decimal numbers. Decimal numbers. Even in many of the places, metal scale pans have been obtained, so you can imagine how advanced they were. Even in these days we find in many of the shops metal scale pans, and you can imagine Harappan civilization that was dating back to circa 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE, and such a long time back even they used metal scale pans. So that shows how advanced they were in terms of weights and measures. Moving on to the next topic, that is ancient authority. Historians have studied the various artifacts ranging from Jammu and Kashmir to Balochistan to Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Cholistan, Banawali, Rakhigadi, various places. And one remarkable thing which they have seen is that in all these places, most of the artifacts which have been found, not only the bricks, but even in the pottery also, and even in the jewelry also, there was remarkable uniformity. Take for example the bricks. The length into breadth into height ratio everywhere in every settlement was 4:2:1. The ratio of length into breadth into height was 4:2:1. So isn't it remarkable? Just imagine bricks made in Jammu area, bricks made in Mohenjo-daro, bricks made in Harappa, bricks made in Cholistan, bricks made in Nageshwar, Balakot, everywhere the bricks are showing standardized ratio. What could be the reason? Was there any central authority to control all the settlements of Harappa? So this is no clear-cut answer has been obtained by archaeologists and historians so far. Those studies are still continuing, and what has been seen is that in Mohenjo-daro, after archaeological excavation, archaeologists have marked one particular building. They have said it as a palace. Though nothing remarkable has been found from there, which suggests that some king might have stayed there. So we cannot say directly, even the archaeologists say that they are not sure whether there were any kings ruling from Mohenjo-daro, where the palace, so-called building called palace, has been excavated and found. Now another statue which is very familiar, most of us, not only the history students, many of the students, if you visit any historical place, if you visit any historical museum, you might be seeing a particular statue called Priest King. So that statue is often found in many of the museums, art galleries, and archaeologists are very much familiar with this statue called Priest King due to the fact that there existed some priest kings in the Mesopotamian civilization. So similar kind of statues which have been found from the Harappan settlements have been named as the priest king by the archaeologists also. But even then we do not know what is the significance of this particular statue called priest king. Whether they ruled the society or not, it is not known. Then what kind of political authority was there in the Harappan settlement? It is really a mystery. Now archaeologists are divided in their views regarding the political authority. A set of archaeologists have said, which I would call it the first view of the archaeologists. According to the first view, there were no rulers in any of the Harappan settlements and everybody enjoyed equal rights. No rulers, everybody enjoyed equal rights. Equal rights. Again, a second group of archaeologists are there who have said that, which I would like to call the second view. According to the second view, it is said that just the opposite of the first view. The first view says that there were no rulers. Everybody enjoyed equal status, equal rights. But again, the second view says that every settlement had a ruler. So you can imagine, according to the second view, Mohenjo-daro has a ruler, Harappa has a ruler. Every settlement had a ruler. So Cholistan had a ruler, Rakhigari, Banavali, everywhere they had separate rulers according to the second view. And the third view, that is again another group of archaeologists are there who have said that there was a central authority. Central authority. So they have said that the entire Harappan culture was kind of a nation state. It was a kind of nation state. So Central authority was there who was controlling from one particular place, and he was exercising control, he or she was exercising control over Jammu, the regions of Jammu, over the regions of Afghanistan, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Cholistan, Rakhigari, Banavali, and so on. So it is said that in comparison to the first view and second view, the third view seems to be most plausible. According to the historians, the third view, that is, there was a central authority, and entire Harappan regions were considered to be a nation state, and the central authority, central power ruled all the other places from one particular place. So currently the third view seems to be more acceptable. That is, there might have been some ruling king who had his own palace at any particular settlement, and he might have been exercising control over all other settlements. So that is why do we say, why are the historians saying that the third view seems to be more plausible? That is because of the fact that you can see so much remarkable uniformity in terms of pottery, terracotta artifacts, in terms of toys which have been found, in terms of jewelry which have been found, and most remarkable is the bricks, the brick size and the brick dimensions, the ratio of length into breadth into height. Now, coming to the last topic of today is end of civilization. End of civilization. We see that gradually from circa 1800 BCE onwards, the settlements are getting depopulated. Like places like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, initially they had a certain population, and the people were moving away from those places, and gradually they were moving to Gujarat, they were moving to other places like Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, and so on. So we see that these places were getting, that is Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Cholistan, Rakhigari, these places were getting deserted, and people were moving farther and farther away to some other settlements. So that was one of the effects of decline of the civilization. Gradually it was also seen that we always keep boasting about the Harappan culture in terms of their amazing pottery, amazing artifacts that they have made, even the jewelry that they have made, the pottery that they have made, the seals that they have made is remarkable. But gradually we see that with the decline of the civilization, as the civilization was coming to an end, how do we come to know? Because the way of life, there was a certain kind of way of life. That is, initially there were urban settlements, there were houses made in a very well planned way, well mannered way, but over the time it is seen that the construction of houses, the techniques of making of houses were declining, which shows that it was a rural culture which was coming up. The urban culture, the urban Harappan culture, early culture was declining, and the rural culture was coming up, which was the later Harappan culture according to many of the historians. So with this decline, we also see there was decline in trade. That is, they were not trading with places beyond their own settlements. They were not making remarkable pottery as it was seen earlier. They were not using weights and measures which had been found earlier. So all these points show up, they point towards one thing, that the civilization was declining. But what was the reason for the decline of the civilization is still not known. Many of the historians say that it could be due to climatic changes, it could be due to deforestation, it could be due to change in the course of the river, or due to flood. excessive flood, or many a times it might be due to change in course of the river, so people might have moved away from that particular place. But all these points, if you see, excessive flood or deforestation or climatic changes cannot bring about a decline of such a large civilization. Such a big civilization cannot come to an end owing to all these factors, because these are considered to be quite minor factors when it comes to declining or fall of any civilization. So we see that history, whenever we study history, it is not a complete process, because every day studies are going on, something new comes up, and whatever has been found so far is not sufficient to explain the decline of the Harappan civilization. But who knows that in the days to come, our scientists, our historians and archaeologists will be able to explain in a more better way the reason for the decline of such a big civilization called the Indus Valley civilization. So my lecture would be ending here. Hope your concept is clear for today's lecture, and I'll be resuming my lecture soon. So thanks to all of you.